There's a moment that hits people when a place they trust starts feeling different. You can't always explain it at first. Maybe it's the aisles looking a little messier than usual. Maybe it's a weird moment at checkout. Maybe it's that instinctive feeling that something behind the scenes just isn't right, even if you can't put your finger on it yet. Well, millions of Target shoppers across America are experiencing that moment right now. And the reason this moment matters is because it's happening everywhere all at once, and it's happening fast. People who never had a single complaint about Target, people who used to brag about their Target runs like they were mini vacations, are suddenly sounding the alarm. These aren't isolated posts. These aren't picky customers. These are longtime shoppers saying the same thing over and over again. Something's wrong at Target, and it didn't used to be like this. And the part that makes this whole thing even stranger is that Target itself won't acknowledge any of it. Not publicly, not directly, not in any meaningful way. They see the complaints. They hear the backlash. They know what customers are saying, but the company is acting like nothing is wrong. Meanwhile, inside the stores, the issues are piling up in plain sight. Everyday essentials locked behind plastic cases, shelves sitting empty during normal business hours, unstocked aisles that look like no one touched them overnight, checkouts that are slower and more frustrating than ever, understaffed departments with nobody around to help, and the biggest red flag of all, the signature Target experience starting to disappear. For decades, Target set itself apart by being the one big box retailer that didn't feel like a big box retailer. Walmart was the place you went for cheap items. Target was the place you went because it felt nice. The lights, the layout, the colors, the vibe, it all created this feeling that Target was a premium version of everyday shopping. Not luxury, but not bargain bin either. It hit this perfect middle ground that made people enjoy being there, even if they spent more than they intended. But now, that feeling is fading. And once you break the feeling, you break the loyalty. Let's go back to the moment shoppers realized something had shifted. People began posting photos online, showing aisles that looked nothing like the Target they remembered. Shelves half empty, in the middle of the day. Products misplaced everywhere. Boxes stacked on the floor. Displays crooked and unfinished. Entire sections that looked like nobody had checked them in hours. Shoppers weren't used to this. Target wasn't supposed to look like this. That was the whole point of Target. It wasn't Walmart. But nothing shocked customers more than seeing everyday essentials locked behind plastic. We're not talking about high-end electronics. We're not talking about items that cost hundreds of dollars. We're talking about deodorant, razors, toothpaste, baby formula, laundry pods. $3 products suddenly protected like expensive jewelry. Customers would walk up to a case, hit the help button, and wait, and wait, and wait. People posted videos waiting 5, 10, even 15 minutes for someone to unlock the case. Others said employees looked overwhelmed, sprinting back and forth because they were the only person assigned to multiple locked sections. One person said, "I just left. I didn't need deodorant that badly." And that's the problem. It wasn't the inconvenience alone. It was the shift in the relationship. Shoppers felt like they were suddenly being treated with suspicion. Like every single person walking through the aisle was a potential thief. That's not the Target people fell in love with. But that wasn't the only shock. Then came the self-checkout controversy, the one that triggered the biggest blowback Target's seen in years. Over the past decade, Target spent millions training customers to use self-checkout. They moved registers aside. They reduced full-service lanes. They encouraged a system where people scanned and bagged their own items. For some shoppers, self-checkout practically became the main reason they chose Target over other stores. And then, without warning, the rules changed. Self-checkout, now limited to 10 items or less. No announcement, no explanation, no rollout campaign, just sudden enforcement. People walked into the store with full carts, saw the signs, and realized they had no shortcut anymore. Employees were standing there redirecting them. "You'll have to wait in the regular line. We're only allowing 10 items. I'm sorry, corporate changed the policy." The lines doubled. Frustration skyrocketed. Shoppers left their carts behind. Some people said they walked into the store, saw the chaos, and left immediately. And here's the part that truly matters. Once someone leaves a store frustrated, it becomes easier and easier not to go back. But why did Target make the change? They won't say it plainly, but the reason is obvious. Shrink. Shrink is the retail industry's polite way of saying, our inventory is disappearing, and we're losing millions. Sometimes shrink is shoplifting. Sometimes it's misscans. Sometimes it's internal mistakes. Sometimes it's employee theft. Sometimes it's poor inventory management. But whatever the cause, Target clearly panicked. Limiting self-checkout was never about improving the customer experience. It was about slowing down the losses. But instead of stopping theft, they slowed down honest customers. This is where Target made one of its biggest business mistakes. They created policies to stop a minority of bad actors at the expense of the majority of good ones. And it didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, Target began rolling out something they called a leaner operational model. This sounds nice on paper: fewer unnecessary tasks, streamlined labor, cleaner workflows. But in practice, it meant something very different. Fewer employees on the floor, fewer hours available for stocking, fewer overnight workers, fewer people at registers, and fewer hands available to help customers. What used to feel like a well-staffed, well-run store suddenly started feeling understaffed and stretched thin. Need help finding something? Good luck. The employee who used to walk around straightening shelves is now simultaneously monitoring self-checkout, answering customer service questions, and stocking the end cap all by themselves. Need a case unlocked? That button you press might go unanswered for 10 minutes. Not because workers don't care, but because there simply aren't enough of them. And customers feel that. They notice it. They talk about it. This is where the cracks in the Target experience really started to show. The vibe, the thing that made Target special, began slipping away. Target's appeal has never been about being the cheapest or the fastest. It was about being pleasant, comfortable, predictable, a place where things were easy. But now shoppers say the store feels chaotic, rushed, and understaffed. The experience feels transactional, not enjoyable. And once a store loses its emotional appeal, price suddenly becomes a major factor, something Target never wanted to compete on. And here's the next problem. Customers say prices are going up at the same time quality is going down. Target's private labels used to be a massive selling point. Good and Gather, Up and Up, Hearth and Hand, Threshold, all these brands gave shoppers the impression of premium quality at affordable prices. But in the last 18 months, customers began noticing a decline. Food items tasting inconsistent, clothing tearing quicker, home goods feeling cheaper, materials that used to feel sturdy now feeling flimsy. And yet, prices kept increasing. This creates a dangerous combination. Lower quality plus higher prices equals disappearing loyalty. Meanwhile, Walmart beats Target on price. Costco beats Target on value. Amazon beats Target on convenience. So what does Target offer right now? That's the question millions of shoppers are asking, and it's the question Target is struggling to answer. Inside the company, the panic signs are obvious. Sales fell quarter after quarter. Stock value dropped. The CEO stepped aside. Corporate roles were eliminated. Consultants were hired to identify why customers are leaving. And the inside message became clear. Something is fundamentally broken. But publicly, Target keeps smiling, insisting everything is on track, even though shoppers are making their feelings known in every comment section, every review, every viral video. And here's the truth: retail analysts are whispering behind closed doors. This isn't a temporary dip. This is an identity crisis. Because the moment a retailer loses the emotional connection with its customers, the collapse begins quietly. People don't stop going overnight. They stop gradually. One less trip this month, then choosing Walmart for essentials, then trying Costco for bulk items, then realizing Amazon is easier for household supplies, then walking into Target and not feeling anything anymore. And that's the moment the relationship breaks. Once the relationship breaks, price matters more. Convenience matters more. Other stores start looking more appealing. Target loses its advantage. And once it loses its advantage, it becomes replaceable. This is the danger Target is facing. Not a single competitor, not a single policy, not a single mistake. It's death by 1,000 cuts. A slow erosion of the magic that made Target special. A slow decline of the experience that kept people loyal. A slow shift in habits that become permanent without anyone noticing. Target can fix this, absolutely. But the company has to be honest with itself first. It has to acknowledge what shoppers already know. The stores don't feel the same. The checkouts aren't efficient. The shelves aren't stocked. The prices aren't justified. The vibe is gone, and the relationship is broken. If Target doesn't restore what made it great, the clean stores, the friendly energy, the effortless shopping experience, then this won't be a one-year setback. It will be the beginning of a long-term decline. Because the biggest threat to Target isn't Walmart, it isn't Amazon, it isn't inflation, and it isn't theft. The biggest threat to Target is Target. And if millions of shoppers walk away, quietly, gradually, permanently, the retailer that once felt untouchable will learn the hardest truth in business. Once customers leave, They rarely switch back.